of my favorite parts of monitoring the situation, I know that line sounds kind of funny, but it's that you can cut through all the bullshit from mainstream media in about 3 seconds. Look at this chart of Hormuz transits. Here's status quo for oil transits. Here's the past couple months, and then there was like a week where we had maybe like 60% of normal for one day. Now you can do the same thing with the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. Look at the 7-day average for oil that's transiting this strait. Look at that drop. It doesn't matter what the president says. It doesn't matter what any paid-off analyst or journalist says. The U.S. economy is going to be choked. And if I'm Iran, I'm working with the Houthis to make sure we do this until the tanks hit their bottoms. The strategic reserve hits its bottoms. Speaking of which, it's at 50-year lows, basically. Like when we were filling at lows. That's something I think people are getting wrong about this. The way Iran wins is it just waits. And it is doing a perfect job at that. Bide its time, play the president's games while giving him zero ground. Tell him you will not negotiate until he cedes complete control of the Strait of Hormuz to you, because you've earned control over it at this point. Once the reserves run out and the price of oil is forced to be something, I don't know, remarkable, you get whatever the fuck you want. And if the US won't give you whatever it wants, then the US and all of its allies get to suffer. You get control over the world's energy choke point. And that's part of the reason I've said this new status quo is unacceptable to the United States. And it's part of the reason we haven't surrendered, is because this is just nuts for anybody who's in the American war apparatus, that we lost this badly. I mean, the president and his friends are manipulating the price of oil to keep it artificially low, but the refined products, diesel, jet fuel, gasoline, the price of those is continuing to rise because you can't print oil. You can't print out gasoline and finished product. One of the most important geopolitical developments of this conflict is the idea of American military dominance is gone. Like the dominance that you saw in the Gulf War when the US walked in and just showed everyone, hey, we can do this in like a couple days. It's completely gone. And yeah, that's a good thing for the entire planet, don't get me wrong. But it's important to recognize that international capital entirely structured itself around the idea that the US is the dominating force. Supply chains are engineered with that fact in mind, that, well, this can be backed up with the United States military if push comes to shove. It's not true anymore. Those very same international supply chains have now provided Iran with the technology to make cheap drones to interrupt said supply chain. The rules of warfare have changed. And so too will the way in which the United States deals with the world. It cannot act as it has for the last 50 plus years. The real question is, I pose this question to you because you've been here for almost 3 minutes. How do you reckon the structure of the United States, the fact that it is an imperialist nation that depends on the subjugation of the global South, how do you reconcile that with its current necessity to understand its new place and take a step back? Because my answer is, it won't, and it will not accept that until it's way too late.